All right, what's up, guys? Eric here from MajorLeagueTrading.com with a free video for tonight. So this will be the first one that ends up here, or second one technically, that ends up on YouTube now, making that transition over instead of just hosting these privately and sharing them with members. We're going to be doing these publicly now. So thank you guys so much for watching. Typically, the format on these is anywhere between 5 to 8 minutes. They can be a little bit longer, but I publish them each and every night. I like to review the day's action and then give at least an idea going into tomorrow on a couple things to watch. So coming into today, we had the holiday weekend. So yesterday here was a half day for the overall markets. We closed at 1 o'clock. I went ahead and added in, so I don't like to look at that data. So I don't look at anything from yesterday's action. I think that's kind of, not real action, if you will, in terms of just overall volume and things like that for the markets. So looking at, going into tomorrow, I've got some levels in here, 44, 41, 50s, and 44, 13s down here below. And the game plan will be, realistically, I do think that we try and make a run higher this week at some point, probably up in towards 44, 79, 50s. And I think that bottom that we try and find is most likely sometime tomorrow or into early Thursday. And then we try and pop up into 44, 79, 50s here for the week. So 44, 13 is going to be pretty key. If we don't hold that level, we've got room down here into 43, 92, 50s. If we can get up through 44, 41, 50s, then we've got room to 44, 55s and then 44, 79, 50s from there. Now, ideally, the way in which this will kind of shape up and start to look is we'll do something where we can open relatively flat, maybe 44 30s, 44 28s, and then trade down in towards 44 25s or so right down through here, kind of take out this pullback low. And then from there, once we can get back over opening print and through 44 41 50s, I like us to the upside here. And it's kind of the same picture overall in the NASDAQ. That level just ends up being 15,390 quarters. I do think that probably tries to trade at some point this week. It's 150 points from here. If we can trade down in towards, 15,200 or so, kind of same thing, get back over the open tomorrow and then kind of push up through these highs here. I think we've got room into that 15,390 quarters either tomorrow or Thursday. Now, with that, there was a couple standout names here on the board today. Number one being Tesla. So Tesla was a nice gap up this morning. You can see it did find some resistance here, 266.50s first thing. Pulls back, manages to not even trade opening print, which is super, super strong. And then rallies into the closing, catching a little bit more of a bid here, about 3 or 4 points in after hours now. This daily chart is getting super extended here. Weekly chart as well, but it is continuing to move to the upside. So not going to fight the trend on this one. Still going to continue to look for pullbacks in here as long opportunities. You can see once we pushed through this 266.50 resistance here today, pulled back and then just absolutely ripped and never looked back from there. Which is basically the same story in NVIDIA here. So NVIDIA, I didn't put any levels in today. I was not super interested in anything really to the long side today because I thought that the market would need a little bit more of that pullback. The names in which kind of stood out to me from that really kind of took hold of some of that weakness here. Boeing being one of the weaker names here today, actually ends up failing on this potential daily at this point, and it was holding rather strong on Friday, which is kind of surprising compared to the overall markets. So Boeing's going to end up on the list here for potential short watches as well, especially if the market does roll over. But the big one now with the tail end of earnings here is going to be FedEx and a little bit of sympathy over into UPS. So these are going to be the two big ones that we watch tomorrow, which is FedEx and UPS. At this point, somewhere down here around 223s, 224s, this is potentially going to take out these last few days on the daily chart. And if it does that and we really start working down through here, you can see this spike low down in here in around 214 could take us all the way back here into this 212 level and work back into some of this gap from the last earnings cycle. So FedEx here, if it doesn't hold that area, then that's what I'm going to be looking for. Same thing here in UPS. UPS gap down on the earnings cycle from this past season. Hasn't been able to get through that. So those are two names right now on the list for potential weakness. Obviously, then we have got Boeing we can add to that list. FedEx still has to prove itself, though. And then the Tesla for some potential long watches here that I think could have another day or so of run. But again, that daily is starting to get a little bit extended here. And then last but not least is going to be the Russell. This one is big right now. So 1872.20s here. I talked about this morning in the Discord, that if we can hold that level, then, you know, it's okay. But if we break that level, then it really starts to get ugly. And that's after we tagged 1917s up here on Friday mornings. We got that gap, tagged it. Again, forget Monday's action here. It's not real in my eyes. And then came right down here into 1872.20s. And if we don't hold that level, then I would be super, super cautious for any rallies in the overall markets. If Russell gets below that level, I would think that Russell starts to eventually lead us into that potential pullback from the rest of the overall markets. So anyways, that's what I've got for tonight's free video. As always, I'll be breaking down everything I'm watching tomorrow, putting it inside the morning write-up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Feel free to hit the thumbs up if you enjoy this video. Comment if you want me to take a look at something for tomorrow or anything like the sort. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace.